All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Over 2 million bags are mishandled globally every year. So today, we're going to transform that terrible feeling of powerlessness at the baggage carousel into an actionable, empowering recovery plan. We have all been there, or at least feared being there, right? You're watching the carousel spin, the crowd thins out, and eventually, it just stops. Your bag is gone. But instead of panicking, today we're going to equip you with the exact strategies you need to take total control of the situation.
It's literally the one question every traveler dreads. But look, knowing exactly what to do in this moment of crisis is the difference between waiting weeks or getting results in days. Your reaction in the very first few minutes sets the tone for your entire recovery process.
So here's our game plan for today. We're going to cover immediate airport actions, master your documentation, domestic versus international limits, strategic essential purchases, and finally, escalation steps.
Okay, kicking things off with Section 1, Immediate Airport Actions.
Look, time is absolutely your best friend right now, so you have to resist the urge to just leave the terminal and head to your hotel. Here is your immediate action plan. First, locate the baggage services office. Second, file an official property irregularity report, or PIR. And third, and I cannot stress this enough, do not walk away without your unique reference number. That number is your absolute lifeline for tracking your bag and proving you actually reported the loss on time.
Now, when you're describing your missing bag for that PIR, whatever you do not downplay the value of the contents. Airlines use these specific details to figure out compensation limits and search priority levels. You got to be incredibly specific. Include the bag color, brand, size, features, an overview of the contents with their approximate value, your full itinerary, and plenty of contact numbers. Don't just say it's a black suitcase. Tell them it's a black hard-shell Samsonite with a neon green luggage tag and a dent on the top left corner. The more detail you give them, the easier it is for the handlers to spot it.
And here is a pro tip. Take a picture of everything before you leave that baggage office. Digitize your boarding pass, your claim tickets, and the PIR form right then and there. Paper claim tickets fade or get lost so easily in the chaos of traveling, so having that digital safety net on your phone gives you indisputable backup proof of your travel details and your timeline. Moving right along to Section 2, Master your documentation.
So once you actually leave the airport, the whole battle becomes about organization. You need to build a missing item inventory that reads like a professional property assessment. We're talking specific item descriptions, brand names, approximate age, condition, current depreciated replacement value, and serial numbers for your electronics. Be totally honest here, factoring in realistic depreciation so your claim stays credible. Airlines know a 2-year-old pair of shoes isn't worth its original retail price today. If you inflate your numbers, they're going to scrutinize your entire claim.
You also want to keep a meticulous log of every single call, because information constantly gets lost as your case bounces between airline departments. Your detailed notes ensure accountability. Write down agent names and ID numbers. And if an agent promises you over the phone that you are authorized to spend $200 on clothes, stop them right there and request an email confirmation immediately. Do not hang up without it.
All right, let's jump into Section 3, Domestic versus International Limits.
Now this is wild. There is a massive gap in what airlines actually owe you depending on where you fly. Domestic U.S. flights offer a pretty high cap for your depreciated belongings, up to $3,800 per passenger. But for most international routes, you fall under the Montreal Convention, which strictly caps liability at around $1,780, no matter if you're flying economy or first class. Knowing these exact numbers sets your baseline for what you can realistically recover.
And you absolutely have to pay attention to these critical reporting deadlines. Domestic flights usually require you to report within 24 hours, while international flights give you up to 7 days. If you miss these strict filing deadlines, you give the airline the right to completely deny your compensation. That is exactly why we emphasize acting immediately at the airport.
Next up, Section 4, Strategic Essential Purchases.
So, while you're waiting for your bag to be tracked down, you're obviously going to need some basics. But navigating the airline's reimbursement policies takes some serious strategy. $50 to $150. That is the typical daily allowance airlines provide for essentials. It's not a lot, meaning you have to spread your budget wisely and save every single itemized receipt. If your bag is missing for a few days, don't blow your allowance on day one. Pace yourself and remember that a generic credit card statement simply will not cut it for reimbursement. You need the itemized receipts.
Take a look at this breakdown. Prescription medications, basic toiletries, essential clothing, and even business attire if you can prove you have a meeting. Those usually get fast-tracked for immediate compensation. But if you try to claim a missing laptop, jewelry, or sporting equipment, That gets pushed over to a completely different department and gets bogged down in standard processing for weeks.
Also, keep in mind that airlines scrutinize these expenses heavily, so choose generic brands over designer names. Buy store-brand toiletries, generic clothing basics, and drugstore cosmetics. It makes it far more likely your reimbursement claim will just sail right through with full approval. Your goal here isn't to upgrade your lifestyle on the airline's dime. It's to demonstrate that you're being totally practical. When claims adjusters see reasonable purchases, they process things much faster.
Finally, Section 5, Escalation Steps.
When being polite and patient gets you nowhere, it's time to ramp up the pressure. At the 24-hour mark, call the tracking hotline daily and honestly utilize the public visibility of social media. Airlines hate public complaints, so a firm tweet tagging them can work wonders. At 48 hours, demand a supervisor and don't just accept a promise that they'll call you back. Stay on the line. And if you hit 30 to 60 days with no resolution, file a formal DOT complaint or consider taking them to small claims court.
Oh, and here is a massive secret weapon. Check your premium credit card benefits. A lot of cards offer baggage delay protection to cover the gaps the airline refuses to pay for, sometimes covering up to $3,000 in emergency expenses like meds or baby supplies. A lot of travelers don't even realize they have this benefit, so call your cards department right away to see if they can step in.
Speaking of taking action, $5,000 is the typical limit for small claims court in most states. It is a highly effective, lawyer-free backup option for high-value losses. If the airline denies your claim or offers you pennies, taking them to small claims is surprisingly easy. Often, just the mere act of filing the paperwork is enough to prompt their legal team to quickly settle with you to avoid the bad press.
Remember, as our quote highlights, your ultimate success literally depends on staying organized, being persistent, and treating this entire recovery process like a well-documented business transaction. You absolutely have passenger rights, and airlines are legally required to compensate you, but they aren't going to just hand it over. You have to prove your case.
So are you prepared to take command if your luggage vanishes on your next trip? By following these insider steps, you are no longer powerless at the carousel. You have a game plan, you know exactly how to manage your docks, and you know how to escalate. But it really does make you wonder, if airlines know exactly how often they lose our bags, why is the burden of proof always entirely on us? Keep your receipts, know your rights, and never let an airline dictate the terms of your recovery. Safe travels!